your biggest goal is to be comfortable everywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in order to be comfortable, you have to be uncomfortable, right? Like those levels of discomfort, or at least starting off in the early weeks, they started growing into something that I was looking forward to. Now, like my confidence not only grow as a professional, but as a personal person.
All right, yo, go ahead.
What's good, guys? How you doing? It's Danzy, and welcome to NESA, Normal Extra Smart Africans. First episode of 2024. We're outside, right? Excited to be here with you guys, and to bring guys, right into our world. But before we start, shout out to, Governor Shea Makinde, with the Shea Makinde Health Vanguard. It is wild, we're kind of, giving that as a high thing, but in condolence to the victims of the bombing that happened in Ibadan. Now, as you all know, I'm a Niger boy, Niger in the building, and I lived in Ibadan for about 10 years, 10 to 12 years, and it's still home. My family still lives there, and where the explosion happened, was very close to where a lot of us happened. But the crazy part about it is that there were over like 200 houses affected. There were less than like 5 deaths, and it was really, really great that a lot of people were still safe, and the governor and the whole team went through with it. So it was really great, the turnaround. 90% of the patients that were injured are released now, and then what's kind of good, there are more clinical psychologists getting in there because there's a lot more, mental thing and physical thing in there. But there's a lot of progress, so we're excited about that. But this episode is kind of dope, Mike is not here, sadly, he's not gone. He's not gone, he's around, but he's not here in this episode. However, I'm with my boy, the one and only DJ O'Henny.
What's going on?
Gerald's in the building, and we have a special guest, all the way from Zimbabwe. I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure that's kind of cool though. But this is the one and only king in the building, Miles Baker. This guy here, and I'm going to allow him to talk and give us his accolades and all the main things from. But this guy is like one of the best creatives I know. Amazing PhD student, 5th year, 4th year, 5th year, almost there. There, it's almost there. It's about to be done.
I lost count.
About to be there. Podcast host, also, TV show host, creative producer, and entrepreneur, because this is an episode we're talking about entrepreneurship and, financial security in science. So,
right.
Could you give us a little bit more about yourself, Mr. Miles Baker?
Well, first off, I appreciate the introduction. This man is a hell of a host, all right? But my name is Miles Baker. I am a 4th year PhD student at North Carolina A&T State University.
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride. I'm in the Applied Science and Technology program with a concentration in bioscience. Particularly, my interest is in synthetic biology. I have kind of like how my man Ore just explained it. I definitely try to be an entrepreneur within my field. I have a lot of goals and aspirations that we are just scratching the surface of, and linking up with creators like DJ O'Henny and my man Ore Odanzi. It really helps us get into these ideas a lot sooner and a lot more effectively. So I'm really thankful to be a part of this podcast.
Hey, appreciate that. All right, that's awesome, man. The whole idea, the reason why we even brought this podcast was I remember through the summer we were talking and understanding how as PhD students, even as graduate students, some of us might get paid really great. A lot of us, don't. And, there are ways some of us could rely on, hopefully getting some help from other places. But there's also this drive, for something that makes you want to go to school for a long time of years, you have some kind of zeal in that. So a lot of us have this thing to want to venture out and be able to get more than what we just kind of have, and hopefully start our own companies or be able to have other forms of influence, have generational wealth. But the first one that can actually start trying to do that. But having that mindset most people will tell you to wait till you're older, or wait till you're 50 and then kind of work for that. We kind of want to kind of do that now. So kind of I remember we talking about how we wanted to get into entrepreneurship in the summer,
Right.
And then what do you think that looks like for a graduate student?
So entrepreneurship is, it's a very risky venture to go into in almost any field. As a graduate student, we have a lot of limitations, but we also have a lot of opportunities within our field and in the positions that we hold, at least in my opinion. So over the summer, financial situations was forcing people to explore other options outside of research in the lab. A lot of different options, but it seems like things kind of turned around as time progressed. But like when it comes down to like actually doing things as a graduate student, I feel like the best thing to actually keep in mind is to know that your entrepreneurship starts now. It doesn't necessarily start with the work that you're putting in for a particular product to get some type of monetary outcome, because realistically speaking, we might not have all the time to really focus on ourselves, especially going into your later years of graduate school. I'm pretty sure both of y'all can agree with this statement, but like, time in the lab consumes almost your everyday life. And it's kind of hard to try to move things beyond, what's in front of you, right? But as of right now, in this time in your life as a graduate student, or whoever may be a graduate student, it's a good time to plan on what your next step is. Like, we often see people leave out of these terminal degree programs thinking that there's one or two options to go down following your graduation of your terminal degree. Is what, academia or industry.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the thing is like, I had an opportunity to intern with a very prominent pharmaceutical over the past fall, and like,
are you gonna like drop names of this?
Nah.
Definitely don't do that. Definitely don't do that.
Like, they're big. You know what I'm saying? Big. All right.
Hey, only at NESA.
Sorry. All right, man.
But the type of assignment and the people that I met really challenged the mindset I had as a graduate student. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody gets the idea that whenever you're going into school or going into a special type of program, you're not supposed to leave the same person that you went in, right?
Yeah.
Because if you leave the same person, it really didn't do anything
What's
for
the
you.
point?
And one thing, exactly. What is the point? Mm-hmm. So like, one thing that I really recognized whenever I was doing this pharmaceutical work, my eyes were like, focus on the goal. At the beginning, it was focused on the goal of like impressing whoever I need to impress to get a job with the pharmaceutical. But once I started like working more and more, I started recognizing that a lot of these pharmaceuticals depend on like private companies to do a lot of their the work that's really important for what they need to push out, or like characterize whatever drug or product that they're trying to push out. Mm-hmm. So that really opens up your mind to say, okay, cool, I could work up the ladder for a pharmaceutical, or I could work for myself and work in collaboration with pharmaceuticals. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of people need, at least in like a terminal degree, a young professional's position, I believe a lot of people need to start considering that outside the two primary options. What could I create that could be marketable now? And like, it's just as much as a gamble as putting out your resume on LinkedIn with hopes to, get
somebody will like click you.
It's just as much as a gamble as applying for these universities, hoping to get a assistant professorship. It's an equal amount of risk, but it's not too many of us is actually willing to go that extra level. There's a lot of opportunities, a lot of organizations for young business developers in the biotech that will allow to support whatever endeavors that you plan on going. It's just making sure you have your plan and your mindset together. And that goes back to my first statement. That's why, like, even though we're not at the finish line at this moment, these times are critical for what our future position is going to be. I can't think of names right now at the moment, but there's been plenty of successful people that had ideas that really blossomed in graduate school. Yeah. Unfortunately, like, a lot of the successful people drop out of graduate school to pursue their dreams, but we'll talk about that. It starts here. You need some motivation.
It's from here. It's crazy because, like, I think, as you said, sometimes if you don't hear that it's possible, or you don't really see the signs, you don't necessarily know or understand that can be.
Yeah, exactly.
I was at a conference in the summer. I was talking about in the last podcast, the Gordon conference, and there was a guy that came with a huge pharmaceutical company in LA. I was like, yo, how do I get into a company and kind of work to do? But I wanted to do that, but at the same time, I was very curious about how he even got there in the first place. So when everybody was kind of figuring out, like, how can I get your number, get your email? I was like, where did you start? How did your company go through?
Yeah, exactly.
And then figured out that in grad school, he started like a small company on his own. And there was a grad fund that allows you to start a company. I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. Immediately went online and Googled it right after meeting with him. It's possible. There's one in in Charlotte, Greensboro. Like you can literally go if you have a business you want to start, you can just like apply. Yeah, I'm a graduate student and I want to start a business. I can give you like grad fund. Like that's insane. So he started his company. Started for like 2 years, got some ideas going, like a few experiments going, sold his company, right? For like a huge amount of money, right? Went into the industry, right? And then ended up working for another biotech company. The people that he bought the company from came back like 2 years later and were like, yeah, we really like the company that you got. We want you to make a model of that. And now he's making like models of other companies while still working under. So now he's in collaboration with the company, working on another one. But that all started from a company that he made in graduate school. But the thing was that I didn't even know that it was possible to do that. Especially like the fact that he looked at me, he was like, yo, I'm an immigrant. By the time I was in graduate school, I was international, so I didn't have like the full papers kind of do stuff. Yeah. But at the same time, there's some things you can do with an F1 visa, some things you can do even with a visiting visa, some things you can do as a full citizen, there's things you can do like as a PhD student, as a graduate student, in any part in science. There's so many other resources to open those avenues, and if we don't see people doing that, but now we know that there are people that are doing that. People that are younger than us, people that are age that are opening to these doors, you know? So what's next?
Exactly. Like and I'm glad you mentioned the point about people younger than us doing big things. Like I remember working for this pharmaceutical, there's people like 22 years old, 21 years old, full-time positions with like years of experience behind the belt. And it's like, I have a private conversations with them. They love the opportunity, but they also have that entrepreneurial mindset where it's like, yeah, this is a great stepping stone, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, that's when I'm going to make the big decision on whether I want to stay in the position like myself or venture out into my own lane. And I always look at like, you know, going directly into industry, it isn't necessarily a full lifetime commitment. Sometimes, at least with my plan, my goal was, at least at the beginning of grad school, was to spend at least a decade in the industry following grad, just so I can get an understanding of how the industry works, and then to go off into my own venture, my own personal ventures. But now as like, you know, things continue, I started meeting people, start talking to bosses, entrepreneurs and CEOs. And it's like, okay, cool. I might as well just take the gamble with myself now. Like, forget the whole 10-year thing. We can learn as we go,
right?
You know?
Like we can learn on the way. And that's something that we literally discussed, like being able to like push those incentives and things moving forward.
Because one thing that, oh my bad, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but like I wanted to make this last point. I feel like I'm hogging, but
you're the guest. Your name is under the episode. You should be the one talking. We want to hear from you, right?
But like one of the big things is like, as a grad student, we go through years of like working on our projects, and of course they call it research for a reason, because if you were searching for it, you literally would just find it the first time, right? Exactly. Like, you know, the repetition of doing these certain techniques that we're learning and honing our, you know,
reading papers over and over again.
Yeah, mastering. Like, we might look at these simple type of techniques that we do on a daily basis as just like a mundane task, but these things really have work to it. These skill sets that we're learning are the skills that will really pay the bills. Exactly. And I feel like as a grad student, you jumping from, well, I'm gonna give just the basic broad statistic. Yeah. Most grad students don't make a lot of money, right? But it's kind of funny because we have like a lot of potential to make a lot of money. Exactly. So you often see students leave out of academia once they finish, you know, their degrees and their programs, and go into these high-paying positions. And sometimes you see these the same individuals not knowing what to do, not knowing how to invest, not knowing how to
manage the money
because
being broke.
Like, yeah, you're talking about like somebody that's making below a poverty level or around poverty level, you know, whoever's PI it is. Exactly. But like you're telling them that they're gonna jump to six-figure salary, upper class, a lot of taxes, but but anyway, but like a lot of opportunities to live a lifestyle that like you were actually, you know, digging dirt for the past 4, 5, 6 years. And in my personal experience in this internship, I had a little taste of what a good payment looks like. And
so I gotta take that good money.
Was it just for a summer?
No, it was for the fall semester.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like I did 16 weeks.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they definitely want to tell people how much it is. But I mean, for a graduate student, I'm just saying, for a graduate student to say that was good pay, you know, that was good pay. I know you got to experience that. But even with that, though, you went there And I don't mean to call your career story. I don't mean to forget it, but you went there,
fine,
right?
man.
With that, right? But then came back like with
this.
with a rolling on it. With a potato now. I mean, funny, but you came back as an entrepreneur and a graduate student too to kind of start that. So, how did all that happen too?
So like going into this internship opportunity that I had, I decided to like really try to make the best out of the opportunity. Like, you know, typically with internships they'll offer you housing or something like that. I decided to like try to like see how big this popular city is and if I could find the best, you know, type of housing that I can. And I landed a good spot right in the center of this big city. It was only supposed to be a short-term lease throughout the internship. But as I started meeting people throughout the city, meeting people in my building, meeting people around the company, like they're really trying to push me to like actually try to make something out of myself. So I took a chance on myself. And now I run like an Airbnb. And if you're ever in the Indianapolis area,
plug it out real quick.
Prime location, please holler at your boy Miles.
We'll put the link in the bio.
Oh yes, for sure. And it's a beautiful space, really accessible. Like, and I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, I met a lot of bosses, and like living around these people and running into these people on a daily basis, it really like motivated me to go into doing that. Not only just that, but also motivated me to like actually go as hard as I want to, in like the science biz. I want to like, you know, see what type of opportunities it is. What is the number looking like for me to rent out a space? What's the number looking like for me to actually support a prototype of a product that I would like to push out? Like, you know, these types of conversations were being had. I ran into Congress people for Indiana state government and my living location, football players, business owners, popular restaurant chefs.
That's the crazy thing. How would people, you know, how would you ever have done all of that if you didn't take the internship? If you didn't even like take the internship or something like that, you know?
Yeah, you're right.
It's like we get emails when there's a poster about over 50 or 60 different internships or something. And I was telling my student this week, like, there's an internship going online, and they're like, like, really? I'm like, what do you mean, really? We get like 70 emails every day. There's a whole board outside the door with over 50 internships, giving from $3,000 to $17,000 for the summer. And like, you don't even know that it's there. You know, like, stuff like that be crazy.
Yeah, you're right. Like, these opportunities are not ones to sleep on, because it's like beyond like, usually internships are going to test you on what you know, right? They want to see, you don't really go there for the hard skills, you go there for the soft skills, right? So like, they want to know how you communicate. They want to know how well you work on it under pressure with the team. Now that's a huge thing, at least for the experience I had working with the team, getting something delivered and communicating what you need to people that don't have the expertise that you're looking for, you know? So like, with that said, I treated my internship as like a full-on networking experience, and I really would suggest anybody else that has an opportunity a similar way to treat it like that. I literally treated it like I was speed dating every week. I literally would have at least 2 to 3 lunches every week with 2 to 3 different people from different organizations within the company, and like, oh man, I gained so much weight.
Good way. You know, I'm happy with.
You see, you took it like this right now. You know?
As long as you work out and get the weight to the right places, you know, you'll be fine.
Right, but like, just having those conversations and those connections
are amazing.
They're so amazing, because it really shows it's like your biggest goal is to be comfortable everywhere, right? But in order to be comfortable, you have to be uncomfortable, right? Like those levels of discomfort, or at least starting off in the early weeks, they started growing into something I was looking forward to. Now, like, my confidence not only grow as a professional, but as a personal person. Now, I wanted, as being a part of this internship, I went out to explore different avenues to express myself. I did stand-up comedy for the first time. I didn't get a lot of laughs, but I reached my quota. So, like,
that's good, you know?
How much was that?
It was about like a chuckle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why not? First time.
First time. Yeah. But I say that to say this, like, it pushes you to just step in the darkness, and being an entrepreneur and a scientist at the same time, it sometimes is looked at as like 2 opposite sides of a coin, but to push yourself into those directions really.
I might have to push back on it.
Why?
Like two opposite sides, science and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, because like I would say that in a sense where like most people would go into grad school, like we just described, they either have two options in their head whenever they're leaving the program: academia or industry, right? And the idea that most people want to go to industry is why? Because they pay you better, right?
Right.
So it's like being an entrepreneur that doesn't guarantee the pay better. So I can see a lot of people just saying like, I'm doing this just so I can get a good job versus doing this so I can be a good boss. Because like you could want to be a boss in science, and then you try to look at ways to becoming a boss the short term, well, the quickest route, and then you go to academia, right? You get your own research lab, you could explore,
and you're like a mini boss.
Yeah, you're a mini boss. You just got to train people.
Despicable me.
So what you're saying, no matter what you do, leadership is important.
Definitely.
Like leadership skills. Okay, so one thing we always stress about on this podcast is, especially when you're in grad school, is kind of leaving grad school with what skills you want. Like, because academia is like, okay, well, it's not free, but you do have a lot of access to different, you can learn a lot of skills. So again, if you have an advisor, I think it's important to have that transparency between your advisor. I recently talked to, one thing I think a lot of people don't do is like also seek, like when they're talking, seek advice from other advisors.
Exactly.
Because they might put like a different perspective.
A different spin on
it. And one advisor told me, he's like, okay, well, you're gonna have to look at your life, like after you graduate, 3 years afterwards, like kind of what do you want your life to look like and what skills do you want? After that talk, I went to my advisor and I understood what I wanted. So I was like, yo, I want kind of this track, right? This is the kind of reason I'm doing out this. I kind of want to go in this direction, right? I want to go I want to look at patents. I want to look at patents. I want to look at tech transfer, commercialization. Of course, I'm still doing research and publications, but I kind of want to kind of like go into that direction. And then today he sent me an email for internship opportunity at a very big semiconductor company. But again, it's like at the same time, I am trying to graduate.
That is a good point.
And then I feel like start my adult life.
Yes.
Every time I tell somebody, like, I feel like a lot of my friends forget that I'm still a PhD program.
Right?
And they'll just be like, dang, dude, you still in school?
Right? And it's so crazy because like even now, like because we're PhD, we get like on the program, like some PhDs were like, we're married and we have kids. We're gonna get there one day, Like,
I feel like it's either like, all right, well, there's people who do get married, right? But then also like, I feel like a lot of people either they came into it with it or like it's hard to start that stuff.
Yeah, because like we're still technically in school. Like we wanna it's weird. It's like we're adults. We're doing a lot of things. We're adulting. We're living adult life. But at the same time, we wanna like graduate and then either get that big job or get that or be able to like choose what we want to do now. Not like report to some kind of level. And I love how you talked about like the learning part of it because aren't you taking like entrepreneurship classes
taking intellectual property class, and last semester I took just the general entrepreneurship class, intellectual property law class, and then tech transfer and commercialization. So how to get like an idea and then kind of make an invention and then take it through the steps for the commercialization process. And then last year I took like some MBA courses like management and then also a marketing class, which was very interesting. I didn't understand. Of course, it was like a small class. It was like a science to marketing that's really interesting.
Anything you understand, anything needs to be studied. It
really is.
The art of cooking chicken wings, right? Or like there's somebody who has cooked like 1 million chicken wings, right? Compared to someone who has cooked 2. And there's someone who has the experience of that. And like, if you want to like dial into something, you need to like, move in and explain because you could have been like, I want to learn business. I want to join MBA, and I could watch a nice YouTube video. read more book about it. You went farther and you took the classes and the courses for this.
Yeah.
And like there are a lot of courses that are literally free and are offered. I love these universities. I love our institutions that we can take in addition to what we're doing. I know we don't want the extra time, we don't want the extra work, but if it's going to give us extra money and extra bread and extra peace and extra affluence down the road, and extra opportunities, like it kind of, makes it and works out for it. Even this semester, like I got into a program that is like something that has nothing to do with like my major. It's like a IT program, but it's literally going to give me like certification and like some like IT part and be able to like expand, because I've always wanted to know that part about it. Like I want to be able to like get into the project class, but also be able to like go into like the information and security online part. And this is literally free. They're like, oh yeah, I'll apply for the program, I get into it. And I checked the program online, and this is a program that was costing people like $5,000 to $10,000 like per semester. And that was a free opportunity I just got like through the school.
Man, you talking about
so it's
deal.
like there's so many things that people can like pursue and like get like through the classes, through like opening nice opportunities, through all of that, and knowing that like no matter how broke we are, no matter how like small things we are, like we can still make these things work. Like start all these plans.
Oh
like,
yes.
And especially now, like because if you're like here now and your Airbnb is in Indiana, right? Like how are you like managing that? Or still getting money?
Oh, so like when it came down to that, like I have a team. I have a small team. So like
a team is important.
Oh yeah. A team is important. I believe a team is important in almost every business avenue. If you believe that you can do it all by yourself, then you're fooling yourself, right?
You're wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, but so like I have a small team, cleaning crew and a manager, and the manager is responsible for just the day-to-day operation. So we need to make sure that there's enough towels in the apartment, or if a guest has a complaint or has a concern about something, at least I have the access to reach out to somebody that will address the situation heads on. So like I got a good representation. I'm glad that like this gives me an opportunity to really work in team building. I had other business ventures that I'm still working on. As my man already said, Timeless Vibes Radio. That is a beautiful thing when it comes to music, producing music, DJing music, mixing music, videos, and also podcasts as well. And I say just a mixture of different avenues really helps out with like trying to become successful. Like, I think we actually had this conversation right before the podcast. Like, I'm not sure about you guys, but I'm not dedicating my whole life to biotech, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I have other ideas. Right. I have other aspirations and goals. Like the degree is beautiful on the wall and it's beautiful on my name.
It's amazing. and we worked for it.
It's great. It is well deserved too. But like you'll be doing yourself and your people an injustice if you
focus in there.
Exactly. If you just have everything going on the one thing where you're a multifaceted person. And maybe some people aren't multifaceted people.
Right? Bro, it's crazy.
Multifaceted people. Yeah.
We outside. I feel like a lot of us, I feel like the scientists kind of are like, it's weird because I always think of those like old cartoons where like you go to a town and like, you check into the hotel and then the host comes like, hey, how are you? My name is Daryl. I just make sure you guys are good. And like checks you in and oh, you're fine. And then you go to the grocery store and you're getting stuff scanned and then the manager of the store comes like, oh, hi. Oh, hi guys. My name is Daryl. Oh, I met you guys before. Just to make sure you guys are good, and then you go into town and then you have like, you go to like this speech by this great guy that owns this company. And then the speech like, hey guys, my name is Daryl. I give you a speech and the same like right guy. And then like, you realize you're like, what's going on? What like, and then it's like, right? Like it's the same person. And that is low key how like I think I want it to be, because I want to be able to understand that even as scientists, we're not restricted and understand that like there's so many opportunities to that and why not do that. I want to be able to own the area, be like own the house, right? Own the business, be able to like.
I feel like this is a mentality like, okay, only you have your vision and only you could make your vision come true. I feel like it's like maybe like a thinking error kind of.
Yeah. It's like a fallacy.
Yeah,
it's like a logical fallacy, because it's like the reason why we're humans and the reason why we develop everything that we have in society is that we can share visions, right?
Yeah.
Like I can talk about an idea and you could imagine the idea I'm speaking about, but then you're adding to the idea. So like keeping that whole thing to yourself is like, it's like running into a wall. You're eventually gonna have to, some things that you didn't consider.
Exactly, I'll move forward. Like the whole idea of this podcast, and even when we're going through, like thank God for God giving us the vision to like just be the guys like coming together. But it's something that we talked about before. It's like I could never have done all this by myself. Like there's no NESA without Oheni, and like we wouldn't have been here like without Mike. Like the way like all three of us came together like to push all the stuff. Like oh, you do this part, you do the marketing part, you just like editing part, you get the stories, you get the people. Like that idea, it can't be done with one person, and it would be so much work and so much annoying if it was done with one person. Like we don't get the camaraderie, we don't get the building, don't get the community, because at the end of the day, if it's not centered and ending with people, then what's the point? Right? Like if a sentence is not for people, like what's the point?
Honestly, I feel like something that I realized, like outsourcing. Oh my god! Like I think if you have the resources to outsource something, please just do it, man.
Yeah.
Like, or you'd be surprised who's I guess willing to help with it.
Exactly.
You just kind of like talk to people, but like outsourcing, like if you outsource something, you're just gonna see how much more time you have to do like other stuff. Like eventually for this podcast, I'm gonna outsource the like video editing. Like eventually I want it so that like, all right, we just shoot this. I just send off the video and they kind of like do something cool. Cause like, even though like I'm decent at it, there's just people who are just people who are better than
amazing.
People who can do stuff you could do way better. Like, like I think you gotta respect that. But it's like, yeah, man.
Yeah, like I definitely agree with that. I feel like it all has to center and like boil down to people and to the ball about it. Because at the end of the day, like we as people in science, right? As science is going into the world, like we have a lot more. We are worth a lot more than we know, and a lot of the time that we're like credited for in the industry. Like we have a lot more power and a lot more, impact than we give ourselves like credit for. And don't get me wrong, if someone wants to have a small life and have like 10 little house with a small dog, and one apartment, that's okay. And but at the same time, there are opportunities and ways to exemplify. Like you're not getting paid enough, there are ways for you to get that and expand more. You don't feel like you know more about something, there are ways for you to do that. Like I asked somebody about the fiduciary last week. I didn't know what that word meant a month ago, right? But then I'm reading books about like finance and like
fiduciary.
Fiduciary.
What does it mean?
We go talk about it later. I'm going to send you a book. Money, master the game. I'm going to kind of go into that.
Okay.
We're going to like taxes and more like money and income and investments. We're going to kind of talk about that later. But that's something that like I'm thinking about. Because in my mind I'm planning like how am I going to look in 5 years? How am I going to look in 10 years? We can plan that now, and all that starts from now. It starts from mindset. It starts from things you can do, physical classes, entrepreneurship classes that you can actually take. Like there's some of these courses online that we can go to. Like being able to also open up to people, like talk about it. You can have an idea, like get it out. There's someone that can get the idea right. Like one of the best things that I did when I was an undergrad was having the thinking tanks that we had in the underground. So like you go into a room with like somebody and you're just like, hey, I have an idea for and have someone who's like in like arts and like design, like they like draw and they're like, oh, like I think that's a really, really cool idea. I don't know why, but I think like a red color will be dope for it. It's kind of like an arm. Someone's saying red and like it sounds crazy, but it works because okay, now you're thinking about red. Okay, so what kind of fiber? Okay, and someone comes and says, okay, can we use like metal for fiber? Now you're a science student with a tailor and somebody who works in metalworks, right? Now you have to come up with an idea for an arm and a design, and like that is literally I'll be the story of how I literally got the arm for one of the prosthetics from our undergrad. Like there's some many things that go from opening up the ideas to people and letting people into that space, So entrepreneurship is literally a dream, but it's a dream that's actually actionable and achievable if you want to actually put in the work for it in science.
I definitely agree with that. It's not too much I can add. I did have one point to add to it though.
Let's go.
So like as a personal question to both you and Oheni, so like we talk about being entrepreneurs, maybe not necessarily in science or but whatever field that you guys are looking forward to. How do you guys make time for creativity, and how do you guys make time to push your ideas, or to whatever extent that y'all pushing it so far?
Honestly, I usually just split my day. Like for like the PhD, like I had this epiphany. I was like, yo, it's kind of my job. So just to be treated like a 9 to 5. Right?
Okay.
So 9 to 5, like I was like, yo, this takes up a lot of my time. I'm pretty much it's a job, but you know, right? So it's like from the time I wake up to like maybe 7, it's just like, all right, I just focus on like PhD stuff, right?
Okay.
And then I have like a little desk in my house where it's like, okay, this is where I work on like anything creative, right? And then also like, I mean, it currently the biggest priority in my life is just like my PhD, right? So it's like, all right, that 3 hours I allocate to you, I do what I can. So I you know, make whatever TikTok I can. I, you know, edit whatever video I can. But understanding, okay, well, it's like this, like, all right, well, 80% is like PhD stuff and then 20% is crazy stuff. So that's where I like, you know, so like clients, like, so I DJ, right? If I'm DJ at a wedding, clients usually get invoices like at 10 p.m. at night because that's when I allocate time, 9, 10 p.m. Yeah, so I don't even
get to it.
Yeah, so like edit stuff. And then I think what's really great too is like, say when I post on social media, and I understand the code to like, all right, blowing up on social media, like the whole consistency thing. It's just being consistent, right? It's like I understand I can't afford to be consistent right now unless I have like a bigger system, right? A better system, because I just can't give the time to like, all right, think of content, make it, and then create it. And it's like, it is a cool aspiration, but at the same time, it's not perfect. So I do what I can.
Nice.
And so I mean, that's all we can do right now until like, all right, well,
you set goals for your like creative ventures. Like, I know, like, for example, I'm friends with a lot of artists, and at the beginning of the year, they'll put out and say they will usually say my New Year's resolution is I want to put out 2 albums or 3 albums this year. Do you have a similar type of like goal setting?
Oh man, system? See, I try to. So right now it's like realistic. So it's like maybe I'll just try to post something, right? So I have a lot of platforms. Okay. It's like I have and I'm probably diversifying.
I'm diverse, you know.
Well, no, that's not necessarily good. That's not necessarily a good thing, though. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, because then you just kind of stretch yourself thin. So I have like, all right, I have a gaming setup. So I was like, oh, let me do gaming, right? So let me do gaming. I have a DJ for like actual music and stuff like that. I also have a YouTube where it's like make reaction videos to like songs and kind of like stuff like that. And it's like, I would want all these to like kind of like blow, but at the same time, if I'm doing 80% of my PhD, right, and 20% of this, right,
I can't.
I have to understand. All right, this is kind of what pace I'm going to go out with this, right? And then it's like I'm not going to get too frustrated. So it's like, okay, well, if I could make like so you just do it based on what you do. So if I can understand, all right,
set the goal.
What can I do? I could definitely make 1 video every 2 weeks. I think I could do that, right? I could do that's realistic, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
So it's like if I start 1 video every 2 weeks, maybe can I do once a week, right? Or something? Because I mean, I have a lot of ideas. It's just like also just kind of like filming it. And also, I have to say, entrepreneurship is kind of like if you can make money from whatever venture you're doing, that's kind of like the loophole to labor policy in grad school, because technically, most grad school policies, you're only allowed to work 20 hours.
We are all
week.
Following the policies just so everyone knows, you know.
And if you're an entrepreneur, you work at 30 hours per week. So it's like,
I mean, technically, we work 40 hours a week. To be honest, like they work us 40 hours a week.
So 60 hours a week.
60 hours a week.
60, shoot, on the light week. Nah, man.
But no, good point, though. I completely agree with what you're saying. Like, I think that is exactly. I think that's what it boils down to. And I wasn't somebody who allocated my time a lot that way. Like, I used to. I love days. Like, I would love to have like, this is my music day. This is my work day. You know,
that's not too bad either.
Yeah, like
not too bad.
Dedicated day.
It was not bad. I decided to start, and then realistically knowing that if I want to finish at the right time, you know, and get all this work done, like you said, like PhD is my priority. Like, don't get me wrong, God is my priority, and then God is basic, and then it's me, and then my health, but then it's majorly PhD, right? So it's like I know that I'm going to have to use a lot of time and experience in this kind of way, but like to the point where I got a planner like last year. I'm not a planner guy. Like I just kind of have things. I'll put stuff in schedule. I have stuff on alarm. I'm an alarm person. I give my alarm. I know what time to set. I'll say we're coming at this time. I'll call Henny. We meet at this time. I will go there. But now I will literally like plan out. Okay, we need to experiment between this time and this time. I have a 2-hour window break in here. I'm gonna go to the park. And I'm gonna go to the park there. I'm gonna have like my phone with me. I have a beat there. Chill. I'm gonna like have like an idea. I'll write like a song, like a verse idea right there. Cool. Go back to the lab, finish up an experiment. I have a podcast I'm listening to that's giving me inspired. It could be a podcast about, God, like I could just like Tim Ross, he's amazing. I could go on some like the Shelly podcast or something about money, getting my mind kind of moving. While I'm doing my experiment, finish that, get home, relax, then okay, cool. And there's some kind of homework to do, but then I'll have sometimes once I finish getting work done, and now we have students now, right? So you mark your scripts and I know it's like 10 o'clock, 11, I'm a night owl. So I'll go to the studio, which is like my happy place. And like when I'm studio, in my creative mood, either like when it comes to like writing songs. And I said, I might feel in the mood to record a video. I might not, but I'll beat myself up about it because I can't do that every single day. But I'll know, okay, cool. Do I feel like recording a video now? I can do one or two a week. And then if I'm in the mood right now, can I do 5 videos? Like, because if I feel, if sometimes you get in that kind of mood, if I feel very creative right now, I can be in the studio for 4 hours and like not move. And I'm just in that zone. I'm just doing songs back to back because that's how I'm feeling. So sometimes when you're in the lab and you're really writing the projects, you're really into an assignment and you just keep on, keep on going because like you're right there. So sometimes if I'm there and I'm okay, I recorded the video, but I still have some energy. I can change my outfit, record another video, 2, 3, 4, and then save them. So I know that in the days when I don't feel like, shooting the video that day, I have a video in my catalog. I just pull that up, set up, post. And then at that point, I'm not doing too much work. I'm having that stuff done and I can still focus on, myself, take a nap. I feel like it's all about like planning and scheduling time. And also, as I said, not beating yourself up even when you don't do those things. Because I said, I don't like setting goals. Because I feel like goals are not necessarily meant to be met. They're meant to kind of get you closer to what you want to get to. I like to implement systems instead, kind of similar to that. Like systems kind of like are things in place that you kind of like work. You kind of like go with a goal. You kind of like hoping you're trying to reach something with a system. Like you've done this over and over and over again. Kind of like you're talking about. Like you wake up in the morning, you do this, you go there, you go there. Like there's a time when as kids we wake up in the morning, we didn't really want to brush our teeth. We're kind of like mad about it. Like my parents first brush teeth. But it got to a time when it's like even though you're tired, half asleep, you wake up, you go, you brush your teeth, you go shower, you move things. It became a system. So sometimes it's like I want to put it in my life where like you go to work, you get stuff, you eat, go to the gym, sleep, and make them systems, not just like, my goal is to get 50 push-ups a day. No, I started to do 10, 20 push-ups every single day. Just that's the system of it. And then the point where like I can't sleep without doing the push-up. Now it has to be like
I like that. I really like that. I like the fact that you mentioned that not only you have a system, but it's also an inspiration thing too. Is it all correct?
Okay, sorry, I didn't see it. I apologize. Sorry, that's
it. Like I was hiding it.
Where'd it go?
Oh, the camera's on.
It's off? Okay, that's fine. It's just the side camera anyway. So
oh yeah.
The main camera's on. So.
But I really dig the fact that you mentioned that. I really like the fact that you mentioned that like you move off an inspiration basis too, because I feel like I do things in a similar manner. I'm not gonna lie, I'm notorious with hiatuses. Like, we will disappear on you so quick. But it's partially due to the same thing Henny was describing.
It's burnout.
Yeah, it's a burnout. And like you described, graduate school is your bread and butter. That's the primary goal right now in our lives. And like like you said, it burns you out sometimes where you can't beat yourself because you're trying to give it your all to your main objectives. And when it comes down to my personal situation, whenever like I get hit with inspiration, whenever I get hit with a certain time of the year that I know that like I at least keep a honest, consistent basis with putting out stuff, I know that's like the trigger for me to actually like to jump into the mental state. I frequently write ideas and jokes about things in my notes in my phone, and I might just jot it down for something to look back on in my free time or something to use in like conversation in the future. But like that's when I really tried to go in deep into my thoughts and deep into creative ideas. Like for example, this is NESA, right?
Yeah.
And NESA stands for
Normal Extra Smart Africans.
Normal Extra Smart Africans. So like you do a lot of support for the African communities, right? And one of my favorite times of the year is Black History Month, for example, right? So like every year since 2012, I've dedicated some type of creative venture to celebrate African American History Month or Black History Month. And over the past years, I've done video interviews, I've done montages, we produced music videos that like try to push out. And we also worked with churches to push out trivia bowls for Black history. Because one thing about being an African American, in respect to the other African diaspora, diaspora, is that due to the slave trade, we really don't have an identity of like where we actually come from, right? You ask an African American person like, hey, why do you act like this? Like, you know, you ask somebody like, why do you act like this? Like,
because Mike, the third person, he's actually from LA, so he's African American too. But we meant Africans as in like the ethnic roots thing. So
but it still ties into the whole idea that history, right?
He understands, right? Because we're just like, all right, you know, pick a country, right? Pick a country, mess with. But he's also aware of it's a school of thought that he kind of always talks to me about. It's called Afro-pessimism. Where it's like, okay, the thing is like he understands like, all right, on paper we're here, right? But sometimes he just can't make that connection as well as we do, right? So, but I would always say that I think I also always talk to him, I was like, the connection is musically, because there's a lot of people, right, who don't understand that a lot of Africans who even got connected to their Africanness because of Afrobeats.
Oh yeah, the music is always
so because of Afrobeats, like the people did not. So that's why it's like I also see a lot of people are defensible, but that's like a super hot
like a whole,
take.
like, other hour.
That's like some shower thoughts. 2
Well,
a.m. 2 a.m.
Wake up in the middle of the night, scratch your head.
But it still like boils down to the fact that I definitely I agree. I really support the fact of the trivia bowls, because last time I said to that, like, we need that like history part, because if, as you said, a lot of African Americans understand like that tie to Africa, where we come from, and if like we understand or know what is there, who were the leaders back then, if we, I said, the ties through the music. And what does the music say? The music says a lot of stories of history, things that did happen, love stories on things that happened, things that
art in general.
And that's exactly a lot of things that happen like in general, and it was like ties us together to move forward.
I definitely agree with you, and like the music, like you could tell the beat. It lives to generations. It's almost genetic, right? But one of the biggest things I try to like push with my fellow African American people is just that like we may be considered like really like we have a like a crab like mentality, right? Like sometimes in the African American community, you don't see people advancing further along because other people want to hold them back, or you don't see people advancing along because they believe the system is set up against them to become successful, right? But like, if you really know who you are or where you come from, you would change ways you act, right? Exactly. Like the reason why King Charles acts the way he acts because he knows his mother is Queen Elizabeth, right? So like, some of the biggest things in the African American community, if we knew that we were childs of kings, if we knew that we could open up a Bible and see our history, we wouldn't second guess some of the actions that we do in a self-destructive way in our communities. And I don't blame us, because it's really just lack of knowledge. So like going back to like the Black History Month and being a part of things like NESA and try to push the reality that we're bigger than what people expect out of us. We're more brighter than the shiniest star in the sky. You know, these are the types of narratives that need to be pushed in the Black community, and I'm glad that y'all had the opportunity to add me on.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate you for being on. I like,
hopefully
like, see that side, you know.
Yeah, hopefully this ain't the last time.
Exactly. I was about to say, like, you know, we're gonna like invite you back, because like invite you back, you have to come back. So now that you said it on live, you know, like you can't lie.
I'm holding to it.
Like time, we're gonna hold you to it.
The podcast voice.
Podcast, yeah. Like, do you have like any like last things you want to like plug to anybody, and anything you're doing right now, anything you want people to like tune into? And anybody just like check you out, Instagram.
Yeah, so at North Carolina A&T, I was voluntold to be a part of a special podcast team for the. Just 1 second.
It's like I want to get this properly right.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I just got put on the team, so if I mess this up,
Yeah,
there's a chance that it could kick.
Yeah, they're gonna kick me out for real. But the Center of Excellence in Entrepreneurship and Innovation at North Carolina A&T is hosting a podcast in which me and a group of 4 other individuals and students, we'll be discussing a variety of topics when it comes down to being an entrepreneur, something similar to the conversation we had today, to other topics around life and, just trying to grow as a person and as a professional. So please tune into that. Hopefully we'll have some information tagged along to the video.
Also, please send it to us. We're going to have this information tagged below. We're always glad to support. I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you, man.
We're outside.
Oh, yeah.
For you and NESA.
Any plugs?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. Just
We
chilling.
All right, I love you guys. Have a wonderful week. And next time, I'll tune into NESA. We outside.
Peace.
Peace.